Hey, let's see. Un momento. Hopefully you can't hear my dryer. I have to get a new washer and dryer, but I can't imagine the prices of these things whenever we get tariffs and so on, but it's making some noise. I've been using my sunshine, but today I need to get these dry soon. Anyway, I thought it might be kind of fun to show you what I'm working on right now. I picked this article pretty much by accident. I wanted to work on an article that has to do with archaeology. I like to work on books. So with Wikipedia, creating a brand new article is really difficult to, okay, it's not difficult to write the article. The issue is you have to prove that the article can exist. So with the biography of a living person, BLP, it's very difficult because you really have to prove how this one person deserves a Wikipedia page beyond all other human beings. And it's not your opinion. It has to be notable sources that are secondary and independent from the person. And other rules too, like they can't be known for just one item, one thing that happened to them in life. Has to be, more reason than just one item. Again, it's a little vague and it's always hard to explain. So I like to work on books because I'm going out of town tomorrow and I want to do this and get it done. And I knew I wanted to do something that deal with archaeology because GSOW is working on a lot of archaeology right now, pseudo-archaeology and archaeology, Wikipedia articles. So books are a big deal to me. And it's always nice that if they have a Wikipedia article, though it's probably not going to get a lot of views, it still helps out the book. It's proving it's notable. So I've written a lot of Wikipedia articles for books, so it's fast for relatively speaking. So I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I'm hitting around, looking all over the place, and I find a organization that has awarded a book to someone, awarded a book, given an award in 2023 to somebody for a book. So I said, okay, that sounds good. If this esteemed organization called European Association of Archaeologists, I'd never heard of before, have given a 2023 award to just one book, that's probably notable. So I just need to come up with some more citations. Now, when you're writing an article for a book, you just need two really good citations. I mean, of course, we'd like to have more, but two is at least what you need for a book. So I'm going to show you my sandbox and just kind of go over some of what I'm doing and some of my thought process for this. Now, I've written a bunch of articles for books, so I have a format. So I take an article that I've written before, which the last book I wrote was Jonathan Stea's book. It was called, wait, let me pull it up so I say it correctly. Everything is public on Wikipedia. So this idea that anybody could be hiding anything is just so silly. It's obviously anybody who accuses us of doing some underhanded thing is clueless. but that's okay. You know, conspiracy theorists just make up shit all the time, right? So it doesn't have to have any relevance or have anything that has to do with, you know, we could talk about it and explain it, but no, we can't bother with that. So I did a book article called Mind the Science, Saving Your Mental Health from the Wellness Industry. Let me show you this. This is my most recent work. And sorry. Got this screen small, so I don't see things as well. All right. So this is the article I wrote just, when did I write this? Wrote it in January, I believe. Yeah, January 28th. So I haven't written anything since then. See, everything's public, you guys. So this is Jonathan Stea's book, Mind the Science. Now, I always follow the same kind of format. You've got a synopsis of the book right here at the top, as I'm about to point to it, as if you can see my finger. And then I do a synopsis. My mouse, don't be acting up again. Background of the book, reception for the book, see also, references. And then there's categories down here at the bottom. That's pretty much what I stick with. Now I could change that up and use something else. I could do a section on an interview, like an interview that the author has written, or if there's some kind of other relevance. I mean, I could show you other books that I've written, but I'm not going to at the moment. But the point is, this is my format of how to write a book. It doesn't have to be done this way. There's no hard and fast rule, but I find it's a lot faster. So then I make a info box. I cannot use the cover, the image, until after the book has been, until after the page has been made live. I can't use it in a sandbox, which I'll show you right now. And this image right here has to be a low resolution image of the book cover. I can't use a nice, beautiful, clear image. So this is ignored for the moment. So this is kind of how it works. Now, here is something that most people just cannot absolutely grasp. So let me explain. The skeptic world, the science world, the world of conspiracy theories, everybody just has a hard time understanding this concept. I do not need to read the book. In fact, there's no reason for me to read the book. I have no business reading the book. Now, I know that seems really counterintuitive, right? Because some of our new editors are like, oh, I'm going to get the book and I'm going to read it and write the Wikipedia article. I'm like, there's no reason to do that. I mean, of course, you might get caught up in it and want to read it because you're interested in it. Or maybe you have read the book and you say, oh, this is so good, I'm going to write the Wikipedia article for it. Okay, that's fine. But you do not need to read the book. I need to know nothing about the book. That's just how it's done. And the reason why, you guys are all listening, you're sitting down, I hope. The reason why a Wikipedia editor does not need to read the book or see the movie or see the play or visit the museum or whatever you're writing for is because Wikipedia doesn't care about your opinion of the book, the movie, the song, or whatever. They don't care about us. Our opinion is not relevant to this at all. So in order to, besides I got 1,000 books, I do have a couple thousand books to read. I don't have time to read the book. The idea is we are writing a Wikipedia article based on the opinion of people who are notable and are experts or journalists who we attribute their opinion to. Nobody cares about what Susan Gerbeck thinks about the book. I mean, if we were quoting Susan Gerbic on Wikipedia or running teams or skeptic camps or on psychic mediums, yes, then you can quote me. But you cannot, my opinion of a book is irrelevant. So now that, gotten that out of the way, I think you guys hopefully got that now. You understand. Nobody cares about that. So it's important that we don't need to read the book, because I can only write the Wikipedia page if there are notable secondary citations independent of the book. So not using their website, not using the publisher's website, not using the website of the author. None of that is important. Even interviews done by the author, not important. So oftentimes we will take a journal like Skeptical Inquirer. This is a journal. And in the back of the magazine, the journal, there are book reviews. So when we get back here, and I've done this a bunch of times. I can't believe I just licked my fingers. I thought I'd stop that habit before COVID. Okay, so here's a book. Here's a review. It is written in a journal that has journalistic integrity. Skeptical Inquirer has its own Wikipedia article. It has journalistic integrity. In other words, if the author of this journal, of this article, screwed it up and got it really wrong, did something really awful, then Skeptical Inquirer has the journalistic integrity to say, we really apologize for that. We retract that. This is wrong. This guy, I don't know. I can't imagine that happening. But if the journal has journalistic integrity enough to try to get it right, to check their sources, to, if there's a problem, they come back and they fix it, or if they have an editorial that's approving things and that kind of stuff, that means it has journalistic integrity. So Skeptical Inquirer does have journalistic integrity. So this book review, written by Terence Hines for a book called Think to New Worlds, The Cultural History of Charles Fort and His Followers. I have no idea who that is. By Joshua Blue Blues? Seriously, his name is Blue Blues? Blubuhs? Joshua Blue Blues. All right. That's rememberable. So, oops. This book review in Skeptical Inquirer is citation number 1 that allows the Wikipedia page for this book to be written, especially if Terence Hines has a Wikipedia page. That helps a little bit too, because that makes them even more notable. This is independent from the book, and it's a review. He has no control over what's written in this thing. If Terence Hines says awful things about the book, then Blue Blues here doesn't have he doesn't have any recourse, right? Hey, Coleman, I see you there. All right, so that's how a book, how something is chosen. So when you see these articles in journals, we can write a Wikipedia page for them if we can find another secondary source that's also independent. Let's see, there's another one here. Oh, it's a 2-page article. All right, so somebody could just write that Wikipedia page for that book. Wouldn't that be nice? And it helps out Joshua Blue Blues. So I have a lot of, I have every Skeptical Inquirer, I believe. I think I'm missing a couple. So I could actually go through all of Skeptical Inquirers and every review, usually there's 2, and then write a Wikipedia page for that book. In theory, I could do that. I just need a second site. Okay, I hope you all are following along, all right. So there are different rules for different things. So a book needs 2, a human being needs 3, and a really good argument why you're writing a Wikipedia page about a person. So if it's a like a museum, you're writing a Wikipedia page about a museum, and I've done that, or a zoo, I've done that. You can use, I think you need a little bit more. I don't know how many, because I've never really looked into how many. I just write as many, and I use a lot of newspapers. Okay, makes sense. I hope everybody understands. If nobody asks me that question again, can my book have a Wikipedia page written about it? So to answer that, yes and no. And then you have to find somebody who's going to sit down and write it, because this takes hours. I have to look at me trying to explain it to you guys. It can take hours. And so somebody has to really want to do it. Okay, so let me show you my work. All right. I'm not going to have you sitting here watching me. So editors use something called a sandbox. My sandbox is available. Somebody can look at it. You can look as soon as you see this screen. If you want to go look at it for whatever reason, you sure can. I don't know why, but yeah, you could. And so could all those detractors out there in the world. You know, they get after me for writing a Wikipedia page about a UFO or whatever, and they get all bent out of shape over it. And then I'm like, well, what about the article I wrote about that botanical garden up in Federal Way and that zoo in North Dakota? What about that? Oh no, they don't care about that. I'm like, did you look into the edits I made on that zoo? I wrote a Wikipedia page for a zoo in Tasmania too. They didn't seem to care about that. But no, if you misspell something about their hero who's a UFO proponent, then oh my God. All right, here's my sandbox. Sandboxes are like a blank piece of paper, like a Word document or an Excel document. It's a document that's blank. And then I teach my team to keep it very neat. I like it very neat. Now, this is just a bunch of, okay, because this is not live at the moment, it says it's a preview. This is not a Wikipedia article. So this is just some gibberish that I have on here saying, hey, don't mess with my page. It's a draft. All right. Then what I do is, let me publish this here real quick. All right. So you can see better. Okay, here's my sandbox. Ignore all this stuff here at the top. This is a format. So like I took Jonathan Stea's book that I had just written in January, and I just copied over the info box from Jonathan Stea, pasted it on here, and I'll show you in a second. And then the same things I used for Jonathan Stea's synopsis, background, reception. See also references and categories. I just copied that all over and then just went through and just filled in the blanks. So here's what it looks like, in case you're curious. Now, I am a very neat, efficient, concise editor, and not every editor does this kind of thing. I use this style. I teach it for my, if you become one of my editors, you learn this style because I think it's neat. It's I call it crinkle, crinkle, R bar, word, uncrinkle, uncrinkle style. I don't know what it's called. That's what I say in my head as I do this. So this is the style I use, which I think it's neat. Most editors do not use this. All right, so just ignore that. That's just something that's left there. So here's the info box that I just copied from Jonathan Stea's Wikipedia page article, his book. And then I just took everything out that didn't have anything to do with him, and I filled it in. So this is a short description. This will appear at the very top of the Wikipedia page when you're searching for the Wikipedia page. It will not be something you see. It's a 2023 book by April Nowell. Is that how you say name? About life as a child in the Ice Age. All right, then in the info box, that's that thing that comes on the right-hand side. It says, growing up in the, this is the name of the book. I didn't know anything about it, but I've been looking at the stuff and it's pretty interesting. All right, so then here's where the image will go and the caption for the image, but I can't put that in yet because I do not have rights to that book cover, and it needs to go in after I've published this. Here's April Nowell. She's the author. Now she has a Wikipedia page, which is what these little lines do, is a hyperlink to her Wikipedia article because she already has one. I've never written it. I don't know anything about it before. Country, there's no country for the book. The book is written in English. The subject is archaeology. Now, if I come up with other subjects like paleontology or history or something like that or whatever, I could put that right here. But at the moment, I'm gonna leave it like that. And see how it has these little hyperlinked links right there. That's linking it to the archaeology Wikipedia article. Oxbrow Books has a Wikipedia article. The book was released on June 14th, 2021. I just used Amazon. It's print. If it has Kindle or audiobook, I can write that right here too. According to Amazon, it has 384 pages. Here's its ISBN number. And then also using, I think I used her Wikipedia page for April's Wikipedia page to see what was the book right before. Making Scenes, Global Perspectives on Scenes and Rock Art. And I'm not sure, but I think I need to capitalize these letters right here. But that's how it was written on her Wikipedia page. So I need to double check because usually a book title is going to have, that would be a capital G and a capital P, but I've got to go back and look because like I said, I'm just copying. I want to make sure it's right. And then her book that she wrote right after the Ice Age book is called In the Mind's Eye, Multidisciplinary Approaches to the Evolution of Human Cognition. And these right here make it italic. All right, so let me show you what this looks like. So here's your info box. And see how it's if I mouse over it, it goes to her Wikipedia article, which does not have a photo of her. Thank you very much. Somebody needs to go take a picture of her. Archaeology, it goes to archaeology. The publisher, Osbo Books, goes to something called Casemate Publishers. Here's the ISB number. And see how it all comes out. So it looks like this. Now the photo of the cover of the book will go here once it's done. So then in just my brief looking over who she is, I wrote this just very quickly. And I hyperlinked. I'll show you. I know this is gripping you guys. I've probably got 1,000 people watching me right now. But I like to be clear and I like to make sure that I'm public about stuff. All right, so here I wrote this. Now this can all change. All these right here are bolding the color, you're making it bold, and because it's a book, it's making it a italic. So here and here. I have something turned on that makes everything colored. So most people who edit Wikipedia, it's all black and white here. But when you train with me, I teach you to use turn on a preference in Wikipedia editing tools that allow you to see these things in color like this, you know, blue for hyperlinks, yellow for other citations and stuff like that. But if you were to go to a Wikipedia page and hit edit, even without an account, it probably wouldn't look like this because you have to turn on this tool I use. So I don't want to correct these words right here because this is how it was written. So this is the cover of the book. So phio, P-H-I-O, that is the book name. So I'm not correcting whatever the correct spelling is of that. And I do this. This is just what the person was going to read. So if you were to do a Google search for this book, what will probably come up is what I've written right here. When you do a Google search, and on the right-hand side, it's called a knowledge bar, and it has all this information about what it is that you've just looked up. And what I'm writing right now is probably going to be what shows. So that's the power of what the importance of Wikipedia. So it would probably say, this book is a 2021 book by Paleolithic archaeologist April Nowell, who is a Department of Anthropology chair and professor at the University of Victoria. And this goes to the Wikipedia page for University of Victoria. See how it has the little lines in it? Little brackets. This book examines the role children and adolescents played in the most recent ice age. Now, I had to go back and look this up and figure it out. I wanted it to be readable so that people would understand what it is. I didn't want to say the most recent Phyllocene period or something like that, or put dates, because I figured Ice Age would make more sense. So I went and I looked it up last night and I'm like, okay, what's the difference between the Pliocene and Ice Age? And they said that the Ice Age is a part of time in the Phyllocene. And then somewhere else I read it said the most recent Ice Age. Now, so this could all change. It might be wrong. It might be the first Ice Age. No, it's got to be the most recent Ice Age. So I wanted it so it's readable for somebody we write, GSOW editors write Wikipedia pages for a high school educated person. So I like the idea of using the most recent Ice Age. I hope that's right. And it can be changed if it's wrong. Nowell argues that they were an important part of society and more studies should be devoted to that role. So I could say, argues that children were an important part, or adolescents were an important part of society and more studies should be devoted to that role. Now, I listened to an interview with her last night, and actually she makes that case at the beginning of the book, but then she says by the end of the book, she decides that there is a lot of information about adolescents and children in Ice Age in the Pliocene time, but we aren't examining that and looking at it as a social history and trying to understand it better. But the information's already out there. So I might revise this and more studies should be devoted to that role. No, I think I'll leave it there. I think that's probably summing up the book good. The book received the 2023 European Association of Archaeologists Book Award. See, this has to be written exactly how the Wikipedia page says. So it goes right to it, calling it a novel contribution to the still unexplored aspect of Paleolithic societies. So this is a direct quote. So here's my quotes. So I don't want to correct that word right there. See, it says that it's a different word. It's spelled something else. I don't want to correct it because this is a direct quote from their website. The book was published by Oxbow Books. So this is a very quick summation of the book. Then ignore this for the moment. Then I put down synopsis, background, reception. See, these little equal lines mean, here, let me show you. Let me show you what I'm at now. So here's what I just wrote. And if I mouse over it, you can see it goes to European Association Archaeologists, Ice Age, University of Victoria. So I'm the type that adds hyperlinks as I go. Some editors will write the whole article and then add the hyperlinks. It doesn't matter how you do it as long as they get done. And then here's see synopsis, background, reception, see also. You guys are getting a whole master class on how to write a Wikipedia page. Okay, synopsis, background, see? These equal lines make it so that it's got a little thing there. Ignore that for the moment. All right, see also. Now this is where you can put links that are not citations. So this was an interview that she did, and she has done a few interviews, but I just picked one. This is like about 20 minutes long, so I put that in. And how you link to a URL off of Wikipedia is just you put this little bracket right here and bracket right there. And you don't do very many. So the see also page should be very small. I haven't looked at this. This is an hour and 15 minutes long. I don't know if I'll look at it. Then I made this references. And then I use this style down here. This is that style I was talking about up here. The most Wikipedia editors don't use this right here. R crinkle R style. So most Wikipedia pages have citations in the body of the article. So like you're writing, you write a citation, you're writing, you have a citation, and it's messy and it's hard to figure out if the citation's in the right place, and it's just messy. I could show you a random Wikipedia page. Let's see. So you can see something that's random. What's random here? Something we did not write. Of course, everything is coming up with something we have written. Let's look at of course, I'm blinking. Agatha Christie. Because I have the book, a book sitting right here. It's about Agatha Christie movies. Okay, so let me show you this. Okay, share. All right. So here's a Wikipedia page for Agatha Christie. She's pretty awesome. So she's got a very long thing here. If I look at this, hit edit, and you could do this too. Mine turns into black color. See the citations, here's it's written, and here's the citations right here. That's a citation according to Unico's index something. She remains the list of most translated individual authors. Here's a citation to that. Her novel, And Then There Were None, is one of the list of best-selling top of all time with approximately 100 million copies sold, blah, 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 blah. And so you can see the citations are in the body of the article. See how that looks? Thankfully, I have this color feature turned on, so it's easier for me to see the beginning and the end of a citation. But if you don't have the color turned on, then it's all just black and white, and it's very hard to find. So I find this very messy. See, that's very messy, I think. That's what a typical Wikipedia editor edits. And if we're just repairing this page, like if I came in here to repair it, then I'm going to use the style that's there, because I'm not going to go back and change this whole darn thing just because I think it's messy. See how that looks? All right, now let me show you what mine looks like. Maybe you'll appreciate it. Maybe you'll have some appreciation for the work that we do. A little bit more appreciation. Okay, so now here's what mine looks like. So I add this section called references, and it has this code here. Each article that I'm going to use, I list it neatly. Here it is. The first article is here. It's the article is titled New Book by University of Victoria Professor Explores Lives of Ice Age Children. Here's the URL. Not everything needs a URL. You can cite things that are in print that have no URL. The website is peninsulasreviews.com. The publisher is Peninsula News Review. I accessed it on the 6th of March. I archived the link in the Wayback Machine. Here's the archive, which is another thing I teach from all my team, to archive everything, because you never know if the there's going to be link rot. You know how you go to click on a citation, it doesn't go anywhere, it gives you a 404. This is when I archived it. The language is English, and the article was written on June 15th. And this is all, you guys, right here in a template called Site Web. So I just fill in the little boxes, and as I fill in the little boxes and hit publish, bam, it comes out like this. So nobody has to, so don't freak out that somebody has to know all this stuff. So I went through and I gathered my evidence for the Wikipedia page I'm going to write, and these are all the citations I'm going to use. This and the prize, these two is all I really needed to write this Wikipedia page, because those two are independent journalistic integrity, independent citations that would prove that this Wikipedia page deserves this book deserves a Wikipedia page. That's all I needed. But I found these others, and these are journals. Here's another one. It's a review, a book review. So what I'm looking for are book reviews, not interviews with the author. Here's another one that's published by mindmatters.ai. Mind Matters. It's another article. Here's another review that was published in paleoanthropology.org. So these are the citations I'm going to use to prove this book, and I will show you what they look like. So see how neat that is? Then I title each of these using that template thing that I showed you. What the heck? So then I titled it with this thing right here. And I added, all right, Gerbic, you can do this. You can do it. You can do it. And then I titled And then I title, see this right here? I come up with a word that will associate with this citation, or a phrase that associates with that citation. I made each of these, and then I put them up here. And this is the crinkle, crinkle, R bar, and then the word, and then uncrinkle, uncrinkle. And the next one is crinkle, crinkle, R, the word or phrase, uncrinkle, uncrinkle. So what I'm going to do is every time I use this citation linguist, which is this, instead of putting this whole thing into the body of the article that I'm writing, I'm only going to use that. So it's going to be much neater. It'll all look really nice and neat. I have not, you guys are just hanging on at the seat of your pants of everything that I'm writing right now. You're just, I can't believe this audience of millions that are watching me right now. They're just like, oh my gosh, we're getting the secrets of how to edit. Oh my gosh, I'm not even the GSOW editor and I can do this. Oh, this is amazing. I know I can do it. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I'm pulling up the SEA article so you can see. Trying to be transparent. All right. So here's the SEA book I wrote. And if you look at the edit, which of course you can do, you can see how I've used, see these yellow things? They all go down to this nice little neat area. Isn't this pretty? It is so nice. Why can't I get other people to edit like this? My team does it, but I can't, you know. Okay, and these little things right here are timestamps. So I used a video and I just timestamped where it was in the video. Isn't that nice? I used what I use? ATIP, AITPT. I used an article in Skeptical Inquirer. I used an interview that the person had done. Oh, this is Seth Andrews. Hey, Seth Andrews. I used one of his interviews, but I only needed like a couple of these things to write the article. I didn't need, I just added this other stuff in so it would have a little more context and explain a little bit better. See, here's the timestamp. See how it appears? And then looks nice, huh? So you can go right to the right place in the video you're watching. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I get so excited. Here's a Skeptical Inquirer link. Here's Leanne Lord had interviewed him for Skeptical Inquirer Presents. So that's a C also. And you can see down here, here's Seth Andrews' Wikipedia page. I've hyperlinked that. I'm looking at it now and it looks so pretty. I like order and method. I think that's why I'm a big fan of Agatha Christie, right? Poirot and his order and method. Okay. So I'm almost done, I guess. Because I got to get to work on this. Just a couple hours, I think I'll have this Wikipedia page done. So what I'm doing next is, now that I have all my citations to prove this, I'm going to have no problem writing this at all. I've watched her interview, one of her interviews, and I might use some quotes out of that, not to prove that you can have a Wikipedia page, but just to give a little more context to the Wikipedia page. And I found these are the articles that I'm going to be quoting. I'll show you. Let me pull them over to my screen. And since I have it all organized, I can just go one at a time. I have all these up here at the tab. Here's my sandbox. Does it pop up? Yeah. So here's my sandbox I'm working in. And then here's the articles I'm going to use. A new book by University of Victoria professor explores lives of Ice Age children. So I'm going to read this. I'm going to take what I want out of this, put it over here and under synopsis, background, or reception, here, here, or here. And when I cite it, I'm going to use, this is a linguist. I'm going to use this citation. So I'll write blah, 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 blah under synopsis, cite. And then maybe I'll use it under reception too. And then cite. Then I'll close when I've used that article and I'm done using that article, I close the tab and I go away with it. I'm done. I don't even look at it again. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could just come down here and find the URL for it, but I usually don't go back to it again. And then I'm going to pick the next, I'm going to pick the next article. I put these in order of how they were published. So I look at the first one, which is the oldest published article that I'm using, and then the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. And I just go through it. Growing up in the Ice Age, fossil and archaeological evidence of the lived lives of Plio-Pleistocene children. And this article was published, I don't know. So I'm going to read this book review. It's published in 2021. And if I can get into the whole article, that'd be great. I might only be able to use this little bit, but that's okay because it's giving me something. I'd like to have the whole review. I'll have to look and see if I can find it. I'm going to use this, which I've already started to use. This is the organization that gave the prize to the book. And so this is another reason why we should give out prizes, right? And then it's a very little bit in here, just a tiny, tiny bit. But I will use that. Then here's another journal article that I will read. It's a book review published in the journal Paleoanthropology. I'll read that. And what I'm going to do is quote the reviewer, this Gregory Togg. I'm going to quote him, who sums up the book that I have not read, and I will use it in either synopsis, background, or reception, or maybe all three. I don't know. And when I do, I will use that as a citation quoting it. So I'll say, according to reviewer Gregory F. Togg, publishing for Paleoanthropology, he says about the book that blah, 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 blah. Rhubarb, 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 rhubarb. And he thinks rhubarb, 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 rhubarb. And he says that further, blah, 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 blah. And that she is incorrect in this reason, blah, 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 blah. But she is correct in this reason, blah, 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 blah. So I'm summing up this man's review of the book. And I'm doing the same in all the other articles. It is not my opinion. It is what these people say. I have to go through it and read it to see. So all of these, and this is a journalist who's writing this. So it's going to have a different feel to it. It's talking about the book that's going to be released. So it's written before the book comes out, I believe, or right about the same time. So I'd love to have this photo, but I cannot use that photo because I am not the owner of the photo. Even though it says courtesy of April Nowell, I would have to contact April Nowell. I'd have to ask her to upload the photo to Wikimedia Commons, and then Wikimedia Commons I could use the photo, but I don't know who this April Nowell is. And if I was to talk to her, I would talk to her after I've already finished the article. But I would love to have photos like this. This is great. That would be a wonderful addition to the Wikipedia page. Cropped, of course, a little tighter, but I would love to have that. That's exactly what I love. I'm a photographer. I love photos. So that's really what I'm doing in the next couple hours, besides I've made this video, because who knows why I'm deciding to do this video. To be transparent, to show people it's not, you can learn how to do this. I mean, I learned how to do it. I am zero no brainiac, that's for sure. It's just a method. You just, depending on your personality type, mine is very order, method, formulaic in a lot of ways, and organized, efficient. That's just me. So some people are more chaotic and do it a different kind of way. Some people do it, well, they all do it differently, but just doing it more often, like once a month, writing a Wikipedia page is going to keep your skills honed. So anybody who's watching this on my GSOW team, it's fun. It really is. I'm learning a lot about Ice Age people. Oh my gosh, I was reading stuff, and they have children. They have, like, they go into these caves and they found art on the walls, and some of it is at the level of a child. So there's children crawling into these caves too, along with their elders, teenagers, and possibly their parents. And they're going in and they're creating art and they're drawing things, and they've got their hand there, and it's got the you can see their little hands, and their little childish drawings. And according to this April Nowell, who I'd never heard of until yesterday, she's really into it, because she's got teenage children, or she's got children now that are like in their 20s, but she started doing this research because she's watching her own children grow up, and they're very similar children now as to children in that time. And she's saying they're extremely helpful to society, and that they taught children how to make tools, stone tools or whatever. And a lot of the artifacts that they know they have now that they found are probably made by children practicing and learning how to make these tools, and that they were an important part of a person to go through to the family unit. And that, they couldn't have somebody who was part of the team, the family, that wasn't participating in some way and helping out. So children and adolescents lived kind of the same kind of lives with role models. She says that they looked up more to older adults than they did to their parents. That sounds familiar. And Lord knows I know that. And that they were very interested in, how they just function. And she tells a story, oh my gosh, in this video I watched last night. She says, I tear up every time I think about it. And it's true. So I'll tell you this story really quick, because nobody's watching, of course, right now. So I'm just talking to myself. Welcome to my day. My cats are sound asleep over here. The dryer is going blah, 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 blah. So I'm just talking to myself. I love AI. I love the internet. Someday somebody's going to watch this and go, oh, that woman, this isn't perfect. This is not okay. So April was telling this story, and she says that one of her friends, or scientist friends, was saying that they found this teenager who had dwarfism in Spain. And they found him, and they said it must have been very difficult for him to keep up, because he had shorter legs and, trying to keep up with a wandering family who's hunting and gathering and so on. But he kept up, and he was obviously cared for. by the family unit because he was able to survive, and he ate the same diet. I guess I know because of his teeth and innards and stuff like that. He had the same diet as everybody else, so he wasn't treated differently. And he, and I don't remember how long ago this was, thousands of years ago, but they they found his remains buried, and what they found is that he was buried with his probably mother in her arms. She's holding him. And so there he is, buried with his mom. I don't know why they'd be buried together unless maybe they died at the same time, like fell over a cliff or mauled by an animal or something. I don't know. But the mother's arms are lovingly wrapped around that, her probably son, who made it to teenage years, which is really a long time for somebody at that time who has dwarfism. Only could have done it with care. Oh, I'm almost gonna tear up. It's so sweet. And what April says is that it was, of course, she says, of course, a mother loves her son, her child, but what it was is the community buried them together that way. So it wasn't just that the mother loved the son, but it was that the group knew that there was love between them and care, and did it that way with her arms around him because that's how they work in life. Isn't that amazing? That says so much about our that says so much about our humanness and humanity. And it's just, I didn't know anything like that. That's really amazing. So anyway, look at, I just learned that last night. See, I taught you guys how to edit Wikipedia, or to understand and appreciate Wikipedia articles now. And I learned something really cool from this woman named April. And again, I don't have to read the book. I'd love to read the book, but I've got 1,000, 2,000 books to read. You should see this room. You're seeing a very small portion of them behind me. And I want to write more books, more Wikipedia articles about books, so that people will appreciate them and say, oh, wow, this looks really interesting. Look at this. And it'll help that publisher, help that author write more books. I might write to her after I'm done with this and say, hey, just FYI, I wrote your Wikipedia page about this book, and I want you to know that it was very touching and I learned a lot. And I didn't read your book. But I read a lot about your book. If I had another lifetime to live, maybe a few more lifetimes, I would get through these books. But oh my God, you guys, I'm doing Facebook Live videos with you because I want you guys to know. Anyway, gotta go check on that dryer and see if it's ever going to dry those clothes. I don't want to have to buy a new dryer, you guys. Take care.